Guys, deluded, I'm back again. Thank you very much for having me, folks. 1 second as I have some juice in the deluded tea and them things there. So yeah, where should we leave it? Let's just leave it here. Man, I don't lick it over. So yeah, apologies about shaking the table, people. This is off to a great start. The last 16 now, let's talk about it. I'm obviously referring to the World Cup. We've seen a fantastic World Cup. Set piece goals, late goals, drama, small teams, upsets, Germany going out, goals every game apart from Denmark and France. We've been treated this World Cup, innit? So it's been an exciting World Cup, definitely in my lifetime. If you're born in the 50s and you've got to see the World Cups of the 70s, the 80s, you was of an age to properly comprehend 98, which I'm very jealous about, and all of these things. You've seen a lot in it. You've seen a madness. But in my lifetime, what, 98? I've already given you guys a story. Out of the ones I can vividly remember, I've only seen a couple in my lifetime. I'm 23. 02, best one for me. So I remember seeing people crying primary over certain results. Obviously 06, I started to understand football. I've told you guys the story of how I was sending letters to Arsenal suggesting players to be signed to no avail, but they were good enough to write back to me. 010 for Spain and them things, they're mainly focused on Spain and to a degree Robin. It was a fantastic tournament, but again I feel I'm forcing it past that. 2014, it was a good tournament, but it didn't really capture my imagination. 2018's been a bad boy thing. Now it's time for the last 16. Not everybody knows who they're going to face. We'll crack on with Belgium and England towards the end of the vid. But let's crack on. Argentina versus France. Madness, madness. Someone's got to go out. Some people want Messi to claim the World Cup to shut up all arguments, in the sense that some believe he's not the greatest in the world unless he wins the World Cup. And a lot of that is valid. Personally, I believe he's the greatest ever regardless. But it is what it is at this moment in time. Argentina have looked woeful, managed to get a good result, credit to them, against Nigeria. Whether Nigeria were justified or unjustified in their penalty claims is for another story. Either way, Argentina have done it, innit? They've been paired with France. France, if you look at them, yeah, they've been doing what needs to be done. At the end of the day, they got 7 points in the group, I believe, or something like that. Forgive me if I'm wrong. They haven't looked convincing. Similar to Jurgen Low, Deschamps has been in this position for a while, and season after season, well, you get what I mean by saying that. Season after season, France don't look any more convincing than at the last tournament. The talent is there, the techers are there, the ability is there, but they just don't look convincing. It doesn't matter who plays. He rotated the side, it was still lackluster and things like that. So there are some cause for concern. In regards to Argentina versus France, that goes either way. If it was based on current form, I'd say France would go through, but it's the last 16. It's the nitty gritty. At the end of the day, it's time to do the business. You can't obviously, because of the way they've been playing, Argentina I'm referring to now, you could say they're in for some beatings or something like that, but they've got Lionel Messi. He might not have necessarily stood out per se against Nigeria, even though he scored, and Eva Benego's the best player on the pitch for me, but you've got to respect them, and that game goes either way, but that's a good fixture. The game I'm probably looking more forward to than that, and it wouldn't make sense, is Portugal versus Uruguay. Why I'm looking to that? Portugal, they showed at the Euros and shown in the World Cup to a degree this time around. It don't matter how, they can get results. Uruguay are the same. They don't care. Well, completely different to Portugal, but they don't really care how. They're getting results. So you can be bound to expect some controversy in that game. Some players like Suarez versus Pepe playing on edge, doing certain dark arts of the game and things like that. Like, it's bound to have a last-minute winner. I'm very excited for the Uruguay game, man. Hopefully Torreira starts after his fantastic showing in his last game for Uruguay, and they did change their formation slightly. That game is the first two games I've said in Argentina versus France and Uruguay versus Portugal. Excitement, people, bruv. Seriously. Spain versus Russia, the host versus the Spanish, along with Croatia until Mexico got smacked by Sweden. And I might be missing someone else out. In terms of playing football, the two I've listed along with Spain have been the best this tournament, in my opinion. Obviously, Russia have done some foolishness in their last game, but they've been scoring goals as well. But you get what I mean by that. I've been impressed with Croatia, Spain and Mexico. Moving away from Mexico now, mainly the way Spain is playing football. Yeah, you can say the problems are still there. There's still a lack of plan B at times. They're struggling to break guys down, despite Iniesta and Isco playing very well this tournament in particular, in my opinion. That goes, obviously, if you're going to look at it on the footballing basis, Spain beat them every time, but you've got to be very careful of being the favourites and underestimating underdogs, because you've seen upsets before in competitions, and Russia can't be under. I do think Spain will have too much for Russia, but you can't rule them out. Like, they should have every bit of confidence. They're scoring goals. They've got the nation behind them and things like that. I'm sure most neutrals, well, I'm a neutral in that, and I want Spain to win that, but I'm sure equally more neutrals probably want an upset, the underdogs. I mean, the English lad in me and the Brazilian fan in me obviously wants Spain to lose to go out to make it a bit easier for the other nations. But yeah, Croatia versus Denmark. Now, Denmark, another one you can't underestimate for being underdogs. You have to respect them. I mean, yeah, at the time versus France, both sides were basically through, so it was lackluster. No one's really trying. But at the end of the day, that's a draw versus one of the biggest countries in the competition. So you've got to respect them. I don't know if Paulsen will be eligible to play, because didn't he get sent out? Didn't he get a yellow card and allegedly was suspended or some crap like that? Don't quote me on that. But they've got hard workers. Paulsen might not be blessed technically, but he works hard. He put his body on the line. They've got Eriksson. They've got players to trouble Croatia. And Croatia, I know Croatia have got 9 points from their games in their group stage, and that's the best record so far. But even if you remember the Brazil game, not the Brazil, Argentina game, until they battered Argentina, they were moving shaky themselves, and then Caballero calmed their nerves down. I think Croatia, based on how the World Cup's going, I'm actually going to put Croatia down as a dark favourites for the World Cup, to be fair. I don't know who they get in the last 8. But yeah, Croatia, you'd think Croatia batters Denmark and beats Denmark and walks through, to be fair with you. Luka Modric, Rakitic, all them man there will do their thing. But you can't underestimate nobody. My brain says Croatia. The purist in me wants to see upsets throughout all of these fixtures I'm talking about. Sweden versus Switzerland. Good draw for either side. If I'm Switzerland, I'm believing I can beat Sweden. Equally, if I'm Sweden, I'm believing I can beat Switzerland. Vice versa, I might have messed it up. Why I believe if I'm Sweden, obviously you messed it up against Germany, but you took Germany to a degree all the way. You beat Mexico, who were leading the group. Switzerland, you got a good draw against Brazil. You're grounded against Serbia. Both sides should be very confident about advancing past the last 16. So there's that. Brazil versus Mexico. Now, Brazil worries me because they're great going forward, and I say great lightly, but defensively, again, football works on the team that scored the most goals wins the game 9 times out of 10. So the following statement isn't going to make sense, but I'm scared. If Brazil is not outscoring teams, I'm scared, because I saw things like Alisson's miscommunication yesterday. Crosses on another day. A couple of them are conceded by Brazil. If Serbia were a better side, no disrespect to them, and took their chances, Brazil might have been in trouble. So I do expect them to beat Mexico, but you can't underestimate Mexico. They beat the reigning holders and kind of gave us a glimpse into how poor Germany will be this competition. They beat Germany. Equally, they lost 3-0 to Sweden, so we don't know what's that's gonna happen. But if we look at how Mexico play in terms of being a team and fighting for the collective and everybody pulling in the same direction, Mexico's up there. They fight for each other. They're energetic. They will match Brazil, match us for everything. So you can't underestimate Brazil. Obviously, these are some good games. Now, Belgium and England kick off later today, obviously, and whoever tops that group will face the runners-up of Group H, which could either be Senegal, Japan, or Colombia, which will also be decided. If they come second, obviously the winner plays the runner-up. So yeah, the route from the group stages, from who's first and who's second, could be interesting, because if you consider, if England were to be the winners of the group, last 16, obviously they could either face Colombia, Senegal, or Japan. Past that, it's either Mexico or Brazil. And then you face the likes of Argentina, Uruguay, France, or Portugal, depending on who gets through in the later rounds. Portugal are good friends, which have caused me a lot of tears, 06, 04, and many other periods in general, to be fair. If you finish second, last 16, obviously the same 3 nations I've said at the beginning. You either face Sweden or Switzerland. And then I believe past that you then face the likes of Croatia, Spain, maybe Russia to the semi. You don't buck them until the semi-finals or something like that. So clearly finishing second in that group is better, because I mean I'd rather play Sweden or Switzerland than definitely the bigger nations in Mexico and Brazil. But there's no easy games, and to be fair, yeah, you could say let's try finish second or whatever, but I think that's nonsense. You have to win the group. You're going to have to play someone big at some point. This is the World Cup. Can't avoid people. Secondly, that whole trying to finish second stuff can backfire in the sense that it's done. We're going to qualify, but it will backfire. just keep momentum and try win the game. If you don't win the game and Belgium win, then cool. But you can't be trying to finish second. I've always felt that's foolishness on a general basis. There's no point trying to be tactical. I don't think Gareth Southgate will be trying to be tactical because it is pretty idiotic. And it is a slap. If he did do that, in my opinion, it'd be a slap in our faces as fans, to be fair, because we've started off so well. Okay, we started off well, playing good, and we're scoring goals and all of these things. But by the same token, we've played two sides. Any nation expected to win the World Cup batters, in my opinion, which we've taken care of. You're now playing Belgium. They've rested players. It's Kevin De Bruyne's birthday today. It's a chance to spoil the party completely. So we need to go out there and do that. And if you beat Belgium, then one saying, oh, it's just Panama and Tunisia. I might stop being so pessimistic and things like that. Come on, England, man. Football's coming home, bro. If Brazil don't win this, football's coming home. You know what I'm saying. But yeah, man, that's my opinion in regards to the last 16. Kicks off on Saturday, obviously, Argentina versus France. So we'll see what happens. Obviously, 16 then becomes 8, 8 then becomes 4, 4 becomes 2, and then you have a winner, innit? So yeah, man. Guys, Deluded, thank you very much for watching. I'd love to hear your opinions. What games are you looking excited to? Who do you think's going to win? Who do you think's going to go out? What is the assist of the tournament? Get your questions in for the Q&A. Just anything, keep the thing moving. Like the video for me, subscribe, share it up. I'm out, man.